Order the regular meeting of the Garfield Mayor and Council for March 25th, 2025 to order at 6:23 p.m. On roll call, council members Rigoloso.
Here.
Delaney.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kane.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Mayoral Advisor Raymond.
Here.
Mayor Garfield.
Here.
We have a quorum. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual meeting notice in the Record and Herald News and by posting such notice in the office of the city clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 2nd, 2025 and published on January 7th, 2025. If you can please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can please remain standing for a brief prayer. God of peace, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we have different opinions, give us unity of spirit. Help us to each listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote their own agendas. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission. Amen.
I think you should send that over to the board.
First on the agenda, we have approval of meeting minutes, the March 11, 2025 work session. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Raymond, seconded by Delaney. On roll call, council members Rigoloso.
This is the February meeting on the 25th.
March 11th work session.
I wasn't there, so.
Okay. Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Kane.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Aye.
Mayor Garfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a resolution for approving a liquor license transfer person to person, resolution R-166-25. I do believe we have legal representation as well as the owner of the liquor license, please. Forward.
Good evening, Dominic Manuel, on behalf of Mr. Alfonso, he's the proprietor of the 82 Farm Bistro, which will be the new owner of the liquor license. It's going to be opening up at 2 Cedar Street, which is a corner location, at which point he would implement the liquor license as part of the bar restaurant concept that he's looking to deploy there at that new place. It was previously Donia, I think was the name of the business now, which has been sort of not operated well, and has been closed for a period of time. So he's looking to revitalize that space and operate there with a new restaurant using that license.
What's the name of the new restaurant?
It's going to be 82 Old Bar and Bistro.
What type of menu?
It's going to be leaning more towards Italian food. It's going to have nice thighs. It's going to be burgers on there. It's going to be a nice place to bring to the city.
Lunch and dinner? What we said?
Mostly it's going to be opening after 4.
Okay.
So it's going to be more than this.
Okay.
And how about delivery? Do they?
Delivery, I'm planning on having delivery.
Is it more of like a bar atmosphere or more of like a restaurant type of atmosphere?
It's going to be like I would say half. I wouldn't want to call it a restaurant, I wouldn't want to call it a bar. It's going to be a bistro. It's going to be a place where you can come, enjoy your food, enjoy your time, and facilities we have.
Any entertainment?
Yes, I plan on having live music, if I have the license for it, and just playing a regular sound system inside of there.
How about television? So you're gonna have sporting events?
Yeah, sporting events I plan on holding. I'm going to have 2 at the bar, 1 in the rear. So any UFC fights or basketball events, tennis.
Now, when you have this live music, you know that you've got houses very close around you, so the music will be contained inside?
Yes, I will, 100%.
And just to piggyback on Deputy Mayor, it is in a residential area, and there were bars there previously and restaurants that were successful, and they ended up moving out, and then obviously like Donia, unsuccessful. Just you end up transfer. Just be cognizant of the area and the residents around.
I absolutely plan on that.
Have you ever owned a restaurant before?
I ran my father's liquor store bar for about 10 years, and I decided it's not my time to have my own place, what I want to do in the future.
Okay. Can I ask where your father's place is?
It was on State Avenue in Lodi, it was a sports bar and liquor store, in Lodi.
Okay.
Mayonnaise.
Oh, okay. That's where I seen you. Okay. Is that a boys' club?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a boys' club, yeah.
My
Okay.
business club, yeah.
Yeah. Always pleasant.
Yeah.
You have, yeah.
Try to keep it.
Very good.
That's where I used to go when I was 16. Only kidding.
His dad was so
The Slim Jims. I was going for the Slim Jims.
Good cover.
Any further questions? Okay, well, everything is in order with the state to approve the transfer, so all we need is a motion to approve.
Yes, I wish a motion.
All right, I have a motion by Delaney, seconded by Rigoloso. On roll call, council members Rigoloso,
Wish you success, yes.
Delaney,
Question mark.
Deputy Mayor Kane,
Lots of love, just be mindful of the residents so they're not calling us every weekend about it, but yes.
Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garnto.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Good luck,
We'll
man. Good luck.
process all the paperwork and send you the license itself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, gentlemen. What was the name again?
82.
82.
When is your grand opening?
I'm hoping for the end of May to have the doors open, so after that, then, yeah.
Would you let us know because the mayor will come and cut the ribbon?
Absolutely, I will.
Okay.
I absolutely will.
Reach out to my office and we'll coordinate their schedules for their attendance.
Absolutely.
Does
Thank you very much.
Does that 82 oak mean anything, or is
It's
this?
my dad's birthday. It's his month and his day he was born.
Oh, there you go.
Alright, nice to meet you.
Very good.
Thank you guys.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Please. Yeah, very good. Good for
I
you.
hope he makes us, it's successful, nothing ever is there.
No, they got one.
The one where you at the party. Okay.
Okay, next we have ordinances. We'll start with ordinances being read on first reading. Resolution R-167-25, introduced ordinance 3064 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend General Legislation, Chapter 5, Boards, Committees, and Commissions of the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Garfield," be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard at a meeting held on April 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same could be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard, and be it further resolved that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? A motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, seconded by Delaney. On roll call, council members Rigoloso,
Aye.
Delaney, Deputy Mayor Kane, Deputy Mayor
I
Raymond.
have a question. What's the change of this ordinance?
Sorry, I meant to explain before asking for the motion. This is establishing the resident advisory board
Okay.
for the city.
Will
Oh,
there
no, I'm
be,
sorry, this is changing the
Number of events.
member of events committee members from 25 to 40.
okay.
My apologies.
Okay, I vote yes.
And Mayor Bronco.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have the ordinance establishing the Residents Advisory Board. Resolution R-168-25, introduced ordinance 3065 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Garfield amending the City Code Part 1 Administrative Legislation, Chapter 5, Boards, Committees, and Commissions to adopt the new Article 7 Residents Advisory Board be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard at a meeting held on April 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m., or soon thereafter, as same could be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard, and be further resolved that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second it, but I'd like to ask a question.
Okay.
Because I missed this part of the email.
Yeah.
How many residents advisory?
So it would be a vice president and a president, so 2, and then plus 2 from each board, so plus 10, so total of 12 essentially.
A motion.
So I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, which was seconded by Rigoloso. On roll call, council members Rigoloso,
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Kane.
Aye, but I also want to say, this was something during our campaign that we stressed about, having a resident advisory board. And just so people are aware of what it is we're actually going to have two members from each ward in the city of Garfield, which equals 10 members, which will actually go around and survey the land and see if there's any issues, talk to other residents, and report back to the council so that way we can be able to tell within the city where there's issues and kind of address them more promptly. So I'm very excited for this to be starting out. Aye.
Deputy Mayor Raymond.
I have a question. Will this be open to all residents? What would they do, apply?
There would be an application, yes, that they would go to the president and the vice president, and then essentially would be appointed by the mayor and council.
And how do we get the president and the vice president?
They're appointed by the mayor and council.
Oh. Okay, yes.
Mayor Garfield.
Absolutely, yes.
Motion carries. Okay, ordinance is being introduced on second reading. Resolution R-169-25, introduced ordinance 3061 on second reading. Whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Ordinance to Repeal General Legislation, Chapter 151, Food Handling Establishments, Article 3, Emergency Outdoor Cafes, of the revised code of the city of Garfield was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, March 11, 2025. And that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance passed on final reading for members of the governing body and the public. This ordinance removes and rescinds the emergency outdoor cafe ordinance that was adopted by the city for COVID. That legislation has since expired, the order from the governor, so that is why this is now being rescinded. It is no longer in effect.
Motion.
We have to open the public, Mayor.
This
Okay.
is here for second reading.
Okay, at this time, this resolution, ordinance rather, will be open for public comments and just this ordinance only. So if you have anything to say or question about this, just come up to the mic, state your name and address, and do so. Thank you. If no one, at this time, here it comes.
Oh, I just got one question. Robert Mann, City 244 Winter Place. Last meeting I came to, I asked about the speed bumps.
No, this is only for this resolution.
Only for this ordinance, this
This,
specific
okay.
ordinance.
All right, if no one has anything to comment about this ordinance, that session, public session is closed, or comments rather, will be closed at this time. Move on.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a motion by Rigoloso. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Raymond. On roll call, Councilmember Rigoloso.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Kane.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-170-25, introduced ordinance 3062 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled Ordinance to Amend General Legislation, Chapter 151, Food Handling Establishments, Article 1, Outdoor Cafes, General Ordinances of the City of Garfield, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, March 11, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Garfield that said ordinance passed on final reading for members of the public of the governing body, having the emergency outdoor cafe ordinance just repealed. This adjusts the outdoor dining as a whole for the city. A lot of establishments created outdoors during COVID, want to keep them. So this adjusts, as discussed, the fees for that outdoor dining, the season for which they can operate outdoors, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open up to the public for any comments on this specific ordinance 3062. If you do have any comments, come up to the mic, state your name and address. Okay, at this time, no comments, so I'm going to close it to the public session. Proceed, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Raymond, seconded by Rigoloso. On roll call, council members Rigoloso.
Aye.
Delaney. Deputy Mayor Kane.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Garfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, and then lastly, resolution R-171-25, introduced ordinance 3063 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the city clerk that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend general legislation, chapter 226, parking, article 2, parking for handicapped persons of the revised code of the city of Garfield, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Tuesday, March 11, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Garfield that said ordinance passed on final reading. For the members of the public and the governing body, as discussed, this cleans up the language about where the handicap parking signs can be placed for those that are approved.
Okay. This was the second reading. At this time, I'm going to open up to the public for any comments for this specific ordinance, 3063, and this ordinance only. Any comments? If so, come up to the mic, state your name and address, and do so. Okay, no comments. Move along, Mr. Manager, please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Kane, seconded by Delaney on roll call, Councilmembers Brigaloso.
So this is just changing the wording on the handicap now?
Just the wording of the ordinance to clean up,
The wording of the ordinance.
yeah, where the signs can be
Yes.
placed. Delaney,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kane,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor
I
Raymond.
have a question.
Yes.
Are we issuing handicap parking placards or spaces for people that drive us?
Typically, no.
No.
There's an investigation done, and I think that's how this language came about, because someone got denied and they weren't
Okay.
happy with the language on our
Okay, yes, I'll vote yes.
Mayor Barnhill.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, next we have the consent agenda. Are there any questions before I ask for a motion? It's a relatively short consent agenda this evening.
What, this one resolution, 177-25, amending terms of event planning?
Yes.
What is that
So
about?
I made an error on Deputy Mayor Kane and Mayor Barnhill's resolutions. Their terms are supposed to be concurrent with their terms on the council, but it was only through 2027, so this is fixing it through 2028.
I'll motion.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay, a motion by
That was-
Brigaloso,
that was
seconded by
low.
Delaney, on roll call, Councilmember
Speak
Brigaloso.
up.
Brigaloso? Delaney? Deputy Mayor Kane?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Raymond?
Yes.
Mayor Barnhill?
Before I vote, I want to make sure Councilman Delaney has a pulse. Yes.
He's good, he's good.
All right, thank you.
He's on, he's checking his out.
Motion carries. Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda this evening.
All right, at this time, I'm going to open it up for public comments. If you have any comments or would like to talk about it, just come up to the mic, state your name and address, and do so.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Michael Garofalo, 82 Irving Place, Garfield, of course. I'm here to bring the entire council's attention, and Mayor, of a problem that I've been facing and trying to resolve for more than the number of years that I wanted to discuss. Certainly pre-pandemic, and it's a water issue, it's a flood issue. It's a man-made flood issue. Engineered flood issue, in my opinion. On Irving Place, I talked to the public superintendent. Many times I've provided pictures, videos, over and over and over. And finally we got to the point about a year and a half ago that I gave videos because he couldn't find it. But he kept telling me, and he did a good job talking to the engineer, Boswell Engineering. He got as far as he could. And last August, I was extremely upset. And those videos I sent again to the public superintendent. DPW superintendent, excuse me. And he finally said, he basically said that he couldn't do any more. He suggested I come to the city manager's office, which I did. And upon entering the city manager's office, I was assisted by Erin Delaney's assistant, or secretary, I don't know her name.
Probably Denise.
Denise, yes. Which I explained the same thing in a little bit more detail. And I can go into a lot of detail here. I don't want to take it over because some people know about the problem. She took the videos, forwarded them to Boswell Engineering. And within about 2 days, Mr. Boswell made contact with me. And I thank you for that.
Y'all know Mr. Boswell. He's here, he's not, he only comes.
He's our counsel.
That's our city attorney. Mr. Boswell's not here this
Okay,
evening.
I apologize.
No, no problem. He's a
But
nice guy.
you can express to Mr. Boswell my good feelings to him. I spoke to him, he saw the videos, he was going to look into it. He turned it over to his city engineer, I guess Bobby, I don't recall his last name.
Maybe Bobby Graham.
Bobby Graham.
Is one of his inspectors.
He received all the videos, he came out on site to look at the problems. And that was last August, and still to this day, the only information I finally got, let me give you a little recap. The water problem that exists, I've been here longer than most of you folks in Garfield. I was here when that area were the veteran homes, if you remember those. Right?
I remember.
Some of the families here remember that. The veteran homes were a great place to play. The mountains behind that, going down to Midland Avenue, great place to walk through, grab some cold water as it ran down the stream.
Now it's 20th Century Field.
Now it's, well, 20th Century Field was always there. It was
Oh, I thought the homes were on the field.
No, the homes were on football fields. The homes were on
Oh, okay.
the Oil Acre Field. The firehouse was on the other side where the other veteran homes were. But the Century Field was always there. It always backed up to Cracker Street and stopped at Marble. Mountains going all over to Maitland and down the hill. What has been done, fantastic, upgrade. We're still there. 82 years, still there. I am. My parents were there before me. My grandparents were there before them. So the problem with water never existed. But today, the problem is such that on good rainstorms, I have to pray that someone's home to put the booms around the front door. My neighbor has the same thing, put booms in front of his garage door to prevent the water from coming down Irving Place, cascading over from one side of the street to the other side of the street, up the driveway, up the walkway, and down into the property. Irving Place has no catch basins. If you're familiar with where the firehouse is around the bend, there are catch basins. There is a catch basin on the corner of Gaston. There's a catch basin right at the radius of the firehouse, which is adjacent to the back parking lot of the firehouse. So those catch basins are the only catch basins on that road all the way down to Charles Street. I was naive, I don't know the drainage system. So in last August and September, the surface of what is going on, the DPW superintendent said the only thing he can do is video the drainage system that's at the firehouse curve. Because I gave him videos on storms where that water is bubbling right out. So we not only have surface water from Irving Place, we've got surface water from beyond the firehouse, the drainage system, probably even some from the Junior Boilermaker Field. Junior Boilermaker Field, more than likely, all the surfaces, I'm an engineer. More than likely, all these fields have subterranean drainage systems. But anything that's not taken there runs off the field. When you put the artificial turf, which is great for the children, great for the ball players. I played ball, I love to see them playing at night. But all of that water now cascades and just accumulates. So they did a video of that pipe. They couldn't do it immediately because they didn't have a video. They had to borrow one from Lodi. Can't believe we don't have a video camera to check things out. So when they checked it out, I was told that drainage doesn't even go down Irving Place. That drainage goes to Gaston Avenue. Okay, so any water coming from Elizabeth Street over to the firehouse parking lot, any waters cascading off the field, coming that way, actually runs down the walkway between the basketball court and the field, the Junior Boilermaker Field.
Mr. Garfield, just a minute.
Yes.
I'm just trying to visualize where your home is.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that.
Are you-
What's the course?
Are you closest to the field or closest to Charles Street?
We're in the middle.
Okay.
I'm right at the end of the Junior Boilermaker Field.
Okay.
No, at the other end.
At the other.
Not by the bend, coming down. Coming from the bend on my side, 1, 2, 3, we're the fourth home. Okay? Across the street is the first home
Yes.
on the Boilermaker Street. So what they told me is the water doesn't come down this way. The drainage pipes do not come down Irving Place. It goes towards Gaston. So where that goes in Gaston, I don't know if it goes back to Elizabeth Street or it goes back to Charles Street. I don't know. I think we need to find out some answers because we're having problems. It's more than 10 years. More than 10 years. Long, and I want to get it done. I want to get it
Before
done.
the rains start.
No, not because it's only raining, because I'm still here. I want to get it done.
Was this an issue before the field was there?
Not at, no,
Like before the turf and everything, or?
you gotta give me a little help with the year that turf was put on. Naturally, when you have grass, it absorbs some of the turf, some of the water.
Water don't go to
The
turf.
last 15 years.
Yeah, I said at least 10 years.
So 20, 30 years ago, this wasn't really an issue, it was just
It's
more.
never been an issue, Mr. King. Never been an issue, up until this point. Probably, again, pre-pandemic, the sewer system was broken on this curve coming in from Gaston to Irving Place. And Boswell Engineering had their people. I use Boswell, he's the engineer, whoever the contractors are, dug it all up twice. They dug it up, paved it, something was still wrong, had to redo it. But to compound these issues, when they paved over the area, probably halfway down from that radius towards my property, they paved it with the pitch, not to the curbs. It comes down to the curbs, and when you get, Mr. Bertossi, when you get to the end of the Junior Boilermaker Field, on the west side, on the Boilermaker Field side, the water comes right across the street. Doesn't continue down Irving Place. Comes right across the street, up the driveway next to my neighbor, across the front of my property. I've got the booms. Goes down to my next door neighbor. He's got the booms, and continues someplace to Charles Street. No other catch basins. So there's two issues. Certainly the road pitch, but more importantly, catch basin.
Maybe they're clogged.
He
They
inspected it.
took pictures.
He did the picture, he did the video, he did the snaking, he didn't do snaking, he did the video.
With the camera.
And it was not clogged.
Did he give a recommendation of
That's when my conversation stopped.
So basically, after he visited my office, Boswell's office went out there, but there hasn't been any follow-up.
The only follow-up I was told in December towards the November, December timeframe. No follow-up, correct. No direct follow-up back to me. The only follow-up that I got was that it's a good time to talk to the mayor and council because you received some flood funds. Well, it's a hell of a way to try to rectify a problem because you got funds.
Yeah.
We're over there doing water control, and there's problems. The pipe going from the entire parking lot by the firehouse has 4 catch basins, catching all that water from wherever. The runoff from the Junior Boilermaker field, maybe some coming up on Elizabeth Street, has no place to go, comes right up and over. That catch basin on the north side of the firehouse comes right across down to the catch basin on Reed's, and there it bubbles up. So we're getting water from every place else, plus our own. Can't handle it.
So, Mr. Garfield, unfortunately, I wish I was an engineer, but I'm not. And so what I will do is I will follow up with Bobby Graham, Mr. Boswell, have them have a report to us of their findings. Obviously, they have the video, they've been out there. Our next meeting in which Mr. Boswell attends, he attends our work session meetings, and that's on April 8th. So I will ask that they have that report so that this mayor and council, who's not familiar with the problem right now, is familiarized with the issue and have him give recommendations to them. And I assume Mr. Garofalo, he has your contact information, right? So I'll make sure that we keep you in the loop this time.
I'm surprised, thank you very much. I'm surprised that they have not given you an update. I just heard you're getting a residents council or a group together. I don't know. You get something like this and it's still stalemate where I went to the top. I got a lot of response from your office. I thank you. So the residents are going to have a hard time if there's a problem such as what I mentioned tonight.
Mr. Garofalo, if I may interject, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I'm sure it's the first time. Basically, all of us are hearing about it.
First time that
I can assure you, after we get that report from Mr. Boswell, one way, shape, or form, we're going to try to rectify your concerns, and you're not going to be waiting months.
I have one question.
Yes.
What's a boom?
Who?
You said you put the.
It's a
Yeah.
barrier
It's a blockade,
that
yeah.
prevents the water from coming over.
Sandbags.
Sandbags. It's a floating sandbag.
Oh.
All right? So I get another 5 or 6 inches of height to keep the water going down.
Mr. Garfield, how long has this issue
10
been
years.
happening? You said 10 years?
At least.
Yeah.
At least, and when did you notify,
Pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic.
Okay.
7, 8 years, movies got lost. Look, these cameras are fantastic. I'm learning. All right? I'm learning.
We're all
We didn't have it. They came out to look. I leave it to that. You come and look, you tell me. But I had to have my son-in-law actually go out there in the rainstorms, waiting, lightning, catching all these videos.
Are you staying for the remainder of the meeting?
Will I stay for the rain?
Yeah, because I want to see some of the videos at the end of the meeting if he's going to be around. Or if you can email them to us.
We might have
Yeah,
them.
We have them on file.
We might
I
have
will.
them.
Can you get them?
Yeah, I could search and see.
Okay.
I will search my
Denise.
phone and
Yes,
see if I
She's
can
gonna,
find it.
if she can't find them, then we'll reach out to you and
Yeah,
get them.
Mr. Garofalo, I can assure you, after our next meeting, the work session on the 8th, sometime in the middle of the month, you'll definitely be here. I give you that.
Well, what I would like to do at that point is when you talk to the engineering group, is I believe 2 things need to be done. The size of that piping is incorrect. So there needs to be something done to take the volume of water, all in that area, wherever it's going. And the second thing, the street in front of us, alongside of us, needs to be regraded.
Let me ask you something. I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Is there any catch basins on your block? You're saying no.
No.
From the radius all the way down to Charles Street, that's the first two catch basins that are there, and they're catching the bottoms of the hill.
That could be an issue. That could be the issue too.
Well,
Maybe. I don't know.
it's
I'm not an
bubbling
engineer.
up, it's bubbling
Yeah.
up where I took videos, it's bubbling up. So the water can't move anymore, it's coming onto Irving Place.
We will do everything in our power to get to the bottom of this.
That's why I'm here, I thank you for your time, appreciate everything you've done, man, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck to everybody.
Thank you so much, sir.
I've been councilman in 1970, I've served my time, North Hill.
Okay.
Okay, I did my time. I know this is not a pleasant thing to always hear complaints, but
It's not, it's a concern. It's not, it's a complaint, but it's a very valid
We wanna
one.
know.
Nobody wants
If
water
we
on
don't
their property.
know, we can't do anything about it, so we do tell people to come and let us know about these things.
Hence is why we're getting that advisory committee together, the
look
citizens.
forward to
So
that happening.
maybe you should apply.
Yes, it will be open application and everybody is able to apply for that on
Wish everybody was
on the
this nice
website
when
the
they
next
do
couple
it.
of days.
Yeah, very pleasant gentleman. Yes.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, and I'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Does anybody else in the public have any comments? Nobody else has any comments?
Feel free, guys. Anyone from the back?
I can talk, or get up.
Just into put the microphone down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when it's the ordinances, it's the same thing over and over.
I was just curious, I was here last month and I had asked about, the speed bumps on Lincoln Place for number 7 school, did anything?
Yes, there, Aaron,
Yeah, so, in speaking with the mayor and council, the engineer and the police department, the engineer and the police department are not just looking at Lincoln Place, they're looking at the city as a whole, to make a recommendation for where they believe speed bumps, because it's, when you do it as a bigger project as opposed to like sporadic one-off, locations, you get better pricing, so they're working together on pricing and the specific locations where they feel, speed bumps are needed throughout the entire city.
and
So,
definitely around the schools.
I know most of the schools have them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now they have some high schools this year, most of the schools have them, except for Lincoln Place, down by Walmart doesn't have any.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
Seven, never had. And
So-
it's the,
No, it's definitely in the
oh,
progress.
yeah, Pinto is back.
It's in the process of being done now, so
Yeah.
hopefully as soon as it.
it'll probably take about another month or so for
Yeah.
them to complete the investigation.
Is that part of the 1 weeks too that we discussed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had mentioned something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're also looking to the one-ways, with the one-ways,
Oh.
they're, surveying the residents for the one-ways. The speed bumps is more just visual and the data that they collect themselves, but for the one-ways, they're doing surveys to the residents in that area just to get their feedback, because it will disrupt like some traffic patterns, so just want their input on that.
Lincoln Place used to be a two-way when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
years ago, that's a one-way.
Yeah.
You were back.
Okay.
I was there on Friday.
On the State Street, because those cars, let me tell you, whiz by the school over there. So-
Yeah, well, I see, Claudia Pinto is back.
Yeah.
Corner, and I talked to her yesterday, and she's very,
I would be,
yeah, I'm surprised that she came back. Like I said, the first grocery guard almost got killed, and she wasn't far behind.
That's a tough corner to be on, regardless of the speed
The
bumps
sun.
or not.
Yeah,
That
but there's
sun,
no
when that
sign
sun comes up,
the hill.
you can't see it.
Yeah, but people fly on the hill bridge.
No, that's what I'm saying,
I
regardless of the
understand the
speed
sun
bumps.
glare, yeah, but
That sun kill, yeah,
they fly up, and the guy that hit her, the kids that hit her were flying up.
yeah. They all fly down.
Yeah, they're flying all over this town. They're flying,
yeah.
I mean, even I see down Atwater Lane sometimes, they're speeding like crazy.
Thank God there's traffic.
Well, the traffic stops it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Who got added something to
He
it?
passed by, he was on Harley Davidson, very loud bike. He passed by 3 times, after 3 times I went outside. After the 4th time that he parked, he had down the street doing about 80. He came around the block 8 times, don't know what he was looking for. He said, you know what, I called the cops, by the time he called the cops, he's gone. So, you know, so it is what it is. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have any comments or concerns? Come up to the mic, state your name and address. Nothing? No, if you have something.
Might as well.
How do you go about getting a no turn on red sign? I know, on a state corner.
Specifically where?
Yeah, so if it's a county road, then that's a little bit more difficult because they have their whole process. But otherwise, you know, it would be like an investigation with the police department if it's not a county road.
We have to do a study.
Like Lands and Shaw, okay? I live on Shaw,
Oh,
right
that's,
next to the bank. So my driveway is right up, like, you know, right next to the bank driveway. And they have their bushes, which are fine. But when I try to back out, it's the right turn on reds from Lanza onto Shaw. Makes it almost impossible at times. So maybe that's just something you guys can look into.
So a no turn on red on
Land and Shore.
turning right on Shaw going towards 46.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
it's really,
no, shouldn't there be the opposite then?
Yes.
Go from shore to lands?
well, there is, and
There is.
it's a time thing, 7 to 4.
Yeah, 7 to 4. You can make a right, no right turn.
Right.
Anytime after 4, and then Saturday and Sunday, anytime you can do it.
But
Yeah.
like coming out of my driveway, when I'm trying to come out of my driveway, people are coming from the bank out of the entrance, which they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And then they're making the right off of Lanza, so it makes it more difficult.
Pat, you're on shore?
I'm right on Shaw,
Yeah.
right next to the bank, like
Okay.
my little driveway's in there. So,
Yeah, I could send it to the traffic department to look
just
into.
do a study or something.
Yeah.
That's it, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We got 2 more people. Anyone else?
Anyone else from the public like to make a comment? No? Okay, at this time, I'm going to close the public session and open it up to the council for any comments. Councilman Ray Pelosi, do you have any comments?
Yeah, let me see, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I apologize if someone's wrestling. I know the Board of Education election's coming up, can't wait till that's over with.
You don't like elections?
Well, you know, this is a funny election and everything like that. I know people are, again, a little serious on this. I just hope that whoever gets in understands that, you know, and I know everybody's feelings, and I don't want to get into it with that, but that we move forward as a city where the board, the school, and the council come together after these elections, regardless of who people get in. Because, you know, there's a lot of good things in the city that is going on. When I say the city, I mean the city as a whole. The school, the city, the town, the whole 9 yards. And I think that after this election, whoever gets in, we wish them luck, but we come together as one and we continue to move and do great things that we're supposed to be doing. That's all.
Councilman Delaney?
Yeah, I agree with you, Rich. If the city as a whole does work better when the Board of Ed and the City Council works together. Without that. But that does not give free rein to the Board of Ed. I happened to attend the Board of Ed meeting last night, and there was some jabs at the City Council.
Some?
It was quite a
There was
few.
some jabs at the City Council, which I didn't appreciate from their leader. But with that being said, it does work better for the entire city when we come together. That works for communities when you work together as a whole. It's better off. They passed the budget last night, and one thing that I did state was the residents in the city, and I'm sure Mr. Garfield, Mr. Renzi, Pat, you could agree that taxes always go up. It's just a fact of life. But, and majority of people, myself, speak for myself, I don't have an issue paying an increase in taxes if I know the money is spent properly. If you see money being spent misproperly, then you have an issue, and that's where it comes, and that's the, $18 a month, that's what it was explained to last night. Or if if I knew that money was being spent properly, I wouldn't have a problem and issue with that whatsoever. But when I see things happening, being misspent and whatnot, that's where the issue is. So I agree with you, Rich. I hope the Board of Ed, the city can work together, and we have in the past, and then again, we haven't many years either. Many years that the city and the board always butt heads, but things do get accomplished when we work together. I know, I'm not too aware of what happened, but I know there was a quality of life meeting that the mayor and the deputy mayor had, and which I'm glad. Quality of life is very important in the city of Garfield. And I see Pat because one of the issues on my way to work every day, I pass Shaw and Lanza. You know, and I see the one shop there on the corner, and that's a big issue with me. The auto shops.
Order.
Auto shops, whether it be repair, sales, and I hope that was addressed. I'm sure it was addressed in the quality of life meeting, and that's one of our big things. You know, along with the speeding in the city, and with the dog feces, and just the litter itself. And it has to start with us, with the people living in the city. You know what I mean? It's just people are dirty. It's a shame. You know, it's a shame that you even have to speak about it. But it's a fact that happens in any city. It is. So, but we are working, I know, together as a team with regards to the auto shops, auto repair shops, to try to bring them, whether it be the hours of the business, how many cars they have on a property, not parking on the sidewalk, the noise that they create. And this has been an ongoing issue for the city council for years. And I'm glad that we're still sitting there. And even with the speed bumps, I know we have instituted a lot, and I don't have a problem putting stop signs on every single corner in our city. You know, if it works, if it works. I was on River Drive today, and the people speeding on River Drive is just outrageous. It's nuts.
I'm shocked that it's not being right.
You know, we wrote letters to the county, because it's county road, and I would like, if our city manager could send another email to our county administrator with regards to the new park that we put on River Drive down at the south end, with regards to the crosswalk there somehow, some way. Nobody could get across the street on River Drive, no way. So, with that, we have no holidays coming up, but we're not
We'll be here before
No,
Easter. We'll be here
yeah.
before Easter.
We
It's
did,
2025.
speaking of River Drive, it's quite an elaborate process to ask for the speed to be reduced. We did complete that entire process, but have not heard back from the county. We had to go back several years and provide accident reports, send letters. It was very detailed. Thank you to the traffic division that helped me do that and get that to the county. So that was submitted. We just haven't heard back yet. But I will reach out about the crosswalk too.
Just for you, Mayor, just to piggyback, have you reached out to the county about the crosswalk for the new park on River Road?
I don't
Well,
recall.
that's it.
You know, that's what I'm saying, just piggyback on.
I don't recall reaching out to them
Yeah, if we could.
to
And I
begin
thought it
with,
was with
so,
this slow stop.
unless maybe Boswell did, but I don't recall personally reaching out to them about that. So,
People look into that.
Mhm.
Right.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Good to go. Mayor?
Oh, good, Deputy Mayor King.
Mine might be a little bit more than Joe's, but I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. I do want to, everybody who's watching, hopefully there's more people watching that are physically here. We would love to have more people in the audience for the council meetings. But the election is coming up, and like we said this with every election, the council election, the Congress election, the assembly, whatever you're doing, make sure you do your research, do that, go out and vote. Don't complain after the fact that things aren't going your way if you didn't go out to vote. What Joe also talked about too, we did have a quality of life meeting. And yes, we do check Facebook. Yes, we do see all the posts going up on Facebook about the garbage, about the parking. We are working as quickly as we physically can. There's only so many hours in a day. We're knocking things off we're actually picking up garbage off the street ourselves when we see it. The problem is that as quickly as we're picking it up, people are driving down the roads and throwing it back on the ground. So we would love to have 1 million people out there on the streets, and we're trying to put things in place that will help clean it up. Just give us time for everybody that's out there. We do hear all the concerns, and we are working as quickly as possible. That being said, another thing that we did bring up, we briefly talked about, is the Resident Advisory Board. It's going to be a very cool process. We do want everyone that wants to be involved in this. It will be work. It will be voluntarily, but it will be an open application process. Everybody who does want to be involved in this can apply through the website once we put it up there, something like that. We'll have it out there for the people to get notified. And a little bit more information. And that just gives more of it'll be like a liaison between the council and the residents, so that way we can address as many issues as possible. And people like Michael don't come 10 years later and say, well, I've been trying to get this out to you. We're trying to get things to us as quickly as possible so we can start whatever process we need to. And how are we going to notify everybody? The coolest way ever is because we're actually launching the Garfield app tonight that we promised you guys about. It will be live on the App Store. You can go to the App Store on your Android or Apple devices and type in Garfield Living. You'll have all the notifications from us, as well as be able to pay your parking permits, which is super exciting. You'll get upcoming events. You'll get links to all different types of things. So go and get the Garfield app today, and it's super exciting that you'll be able to download that. It'll be all over Facebook at some point in time with the QR code that you can scan and download it immediately. And that's it. Have a good night.
Deputy Mayor Hannah Raymond, Mayoral Advisor.
Yes, I couldn't make the board meeting last night, but I did watch it, and it was absolutely disgusting. And I'll tell you, I agree with you, Councilman Rigolosi. It's good when the board and the council can work together, but you need to have two bodies that are really working for the good of the city and the students. I personally feel this board is very irresponsible. They are spending money like it's water. And we can't continue to do that because the taxpayers are going to feel the impact. I really feel by us moving that election to April, made them a little bit more aware, God bless you, made them aware that if they go over the cap, it's going to go out to be voted on by the public. And then, of course, if the budget was voted down, it would come before the council to be cut. So I think that they kind of tried to stay under the cap. I'm sure, I don't know, they had some bent cap that they used? I don't know. I gotta look into that. But there's so many jobs that were created unnecessarily, and yet our teachers don't even have supplies. Water fountains were supposed to go into the schools, bottle fillers, they were ordered. Now they don't have the money to pay the guy to do it.
That was a fly, a campaign fly, that's what that was.
No, well, Tommy Adams bought all the equipment. Now they tell them they don't have the money to do it. I mean, you have boilers breaking down. We had kindergarten children this year sitting with coats on in their room. They're babies. It's unacceptable. So I do agree it would be nice if we had a board we could work with, but you can't work with a board that's irresponsible and that doesn't have the best interest of the school district at heart. And that's what I see now. There's some good things coming up in the city. We have a whole bucket list we need to get through. It'll probably take us 4 years to get through that bucket list, but one by one, they're being knocked off. And I just spoke to somebody, and actually I spoke to our new rec director. We're going to be doing something when the weather breaks for the women in town, a self-defense course. And it'll be by a self-defense instructor, but it'll be a nice thing for women to learn how to defend themselves if you're in a parking lot in ShopRite or one of the grocery stores and somebody comes up and tries to steal your purse or whatever. So we got that, that's in the works also. Or in your driveway, yeah. Yeah, well, you never know. This is not the same town it was 30 years ago.
Next time Rick makes a video from your house, you'll be able to go out and get them.
Oh, and I will. Next time he's gonna leave with buckshot. Anyway, So there's some good things to look forward to in the city. Mr. Garfield, thank you so much. You're such a gentleman. It was a pleasure, it was a pleasure to hear about your problem. Not that it was good that you had a problem, but the way you presented it, we appreciate that. And our city manager, she lets nothing lay for too long. Trust me. So I'm sure she will get to the bottom of whatever the issue
And
is.
I do have some videos from Mr. King, if you give me a few minutes.
Okay. And, okay, I think that's it. I wish we did have more people at this meeting, but I guess they just don't want to come out. Hopefully they're able to watch it on TV.
And we don't cut you off as you're speaking, we wanna make sure we get the full story.
Yeah, even though we have a 5-minute rule, we don't enforce that, like they do next door.
I understand.
Okay, everybody have a good evening.
All right. Being that the four prior to me covered basically everything, I just want to touch on a few things that they did touch on, though I will anyway. As far as working together, yes, you accomplish so much more when you work together. But just as most of the people to the right of me stated, that I have no problem working with anyone, even if I don't get along with the people, the individual or the entity, as long as they're doing the right thing. And as stated by most of the people to the right of me, they're not doing the right thing. They created jobs that never existed in that district. They have assistants, it's ridiculous. You know, they just went out and they took, through a co-op, they're updating the infrastructure for the IT, $1.9 million. Again, I call it street talk. I don't have absolute proof yet, but it's getting very close. There's the next lowest bid was $1 million. Why would you take a bid of 1.9 when you could have got it for $1 million? So that's something that we're gonna look into. So when they start being responsible, then there's a chance that we sit down and work together. As far as, I'm done with the school district because we're not here, we're the council, we're for the city. We are for the children too, but only if they're gonna start being responsible, we'll sit down and possibly work with them. You know, we went over the residents advisory committee and the quality of life. We did have the quality of life meeting last week, and it was good. We had union representatives from each, the police, DPW, City Hall, fire. It was a good meeting. We shared a lot of our concerns. I can assure you the reason why we're doing these committees, and whether it be residents or the quality of life, is because we care about everybody, not just a few people, everybody in the city. And Mr. Garofalo, I can assure you, you went to the right office when you went to Ms. Delaney's office. You're not going to wait, I can assure you. By the middle of the month, you're going to have some answers. Hopefully we can resolve it. But I just want to thank everybody that came this evening. And like I always said when I was on the board, I want this place packed. Hold us accountable for our actions or lack of actions. We want to hear it. We want to hear it. Thank you, and have a good evening, everyone.
Mayor, if I may, I just seen Pastor Bryant come in, and Pastor Bryant from front of
Yes,
the Catholic
yes.
Church. I don't know if you wanted to address the council.
Yes. Pastor Brian, would you,
Did you want
do you have anything to say, or would you, we had the public session, but we'll reopen it for you if you'd like to say anything or have any concerns.
I don't have any concerns, because I don't like to come. First of all, I want to say good evening to everyone.
Pastor, come up to the mic and just take your name back off.
I'm trying to find out, you know? So, my good buddy, Joe,
Yes, I have the camera right now.
everybody's here. First of all, once again, good evening, everyone. And, first of all, like I said before, it's been a while since I've been able to come to the council meeting ever since the COVID. It backed us up as a church. And so to reorganize, redevelop, and try to get everybody back focused, it's still taking some time. But I did get a chance to talk to Joe, and he kind of gave me the sense of knowing when the next meeting was. So I decided to come out. And, I'm glad to hear at the last part he's named the quality of life. because I think, you know, one of the things that's what's needed, we as a church, we want to be a part of the community. And so that plays a very important role for us as a church to be involved, and with the quality of life that does make a difference. So I would like to know more information about that whenever we can. But I just came by to see how everything's going, just to be all ears, you know. And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pastor.
Let's see.
We did pass the loss of about 60.
Yeah, we did lose that. I was gonna say that.
Your brother.
No trouble.
Oh, you're looking good.
Trying to catch up with you,
On
Joe.
the side.
Oh, Joe.
All right, also Pastor, you weren't here, but we also introduced the Garfield app tonight. They can download, if you search for Garfield Living right on the App Store, and be also up to date with all the community events and everything going on.
All right, at this time, motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? All right. Thank you, everyone.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.